So to start off here, I want to say thank all of you for joining us. This is, a couple more people than what we had last year on Zoom. And I hope this makes it easier for you guys to join in and participate. And we really hope that this is helpful information that if you guys aren't from our district here in Bozeman, that you can take back to your districts and share this information with fellow umpires. And so thank you. Thank you very much for joining us. So if you have suggestions, please send them to Ken.
You guys all have my email. I was gonna say the one suggestion I would make right now is since we don't have fluorescent lights, we could actually show you on screen.
I can't get my camera to work, so
Okay, all right.
I'm on screen. I'm right over there.
Well, yeah, you're on the little screen.
Yep.
But to echo what Chris was saying, thank you guys for tuning in. It looks like we've got Helena with us, we've got Sydney, and we have Butte. So thank you guys for helping us.
I'm here.
Whoa, and we have Sydney now too.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean it.
Oh, come on now.
I mean,
Just come charging in.
I mean, that's.
Hi there.
But thank you guys for tuning in. Just some follow-up stuff from not only the state meeting in terms of what we talked about with this format, but some other things. So we are going to have the link to this video posted on a YouTube channel, probably a day or two after the meeting. I did get that part set up and I'm trying to figure out how to go from Zoom to YouTube. But as soon as that link becomes available live, I will pass it on to you. Likewise, we do have a website link, and as soon as I figure out how to computer enough to build a website, even through Squarespace, these videos will be linked on there as well. So there's a few different options to get people involved. Passing out these Zoom links obviously is a big one that we want to get out in state meetings. So anybody who wants to join, you're more than welcome to. And my computer guy just left the room without sharing his screen nonetheless. So I can figure out how to use his mouse. What, you shut the door?
It's tricky, man. I got it.
It's tricky. What?
You stand up there and be pretty.
I'm not pretty though. Have you seen me?
Your face is the light maker.
Wow. You can tell it's been a while since I've used Zoom anyway. So. All right, so now that
sure that they're seeing this.
everybody see the PowerPoint, all right?
No, I'm not sure they can right now.
You got to share your screen for us to see the PowerPoint.
I gotcha. Ken was messing with my computer.
If you would just use a normal mouse like everybody else instead of your fancy one.
Don't say it, just shut up and do it.
There it is.
All right, we found it. So again, welcome to our new space, those in attendance, those on Zoom. This is a drastic change from where we were last year, which was at the American Legion downtown in Bozeman. We still want to extend gratitude for the Legion letting us use that space for the last few years, but this is a little more of a family-friendly environment and wider open with better internet connection. So hopefully we can actually get into some video discussion and things as we go on.
It's just hard to find.
We'll get past that.
Are you guys seeing a full screen
You
or?
should get a map of Bozeman.
You need to turn on the actual slideshow for us to just see the slide. Right now, Chris, we see the slides and the slide deck on the left.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not letting me. It was earlier letting me do that. I don't know.
How did you manage to break it between now?
There we go.
Now it'll work.
Gotcha.
All right, there we go. So next slide. So this meeting in and of itself is going to be kind of short compared to hopefully some of the discussion that we're going to get into moving forward with these study clubs. And we'll kind of go over the general format of what we had in mind. Chris, Matt, myself have all taken a look at the format that we had, and not that there was really anything wrong with it, but it wasn't very focused towards getting people involved, new officials, things like that. So we kind of retooled what we're doing this year, and we're hoping it gives people a grasp of what we got going. So as you can see on our agenda, we just went through the general welcome. We're gonna go through registrations and association fees, the uniform stuff that we talked about at the state meeting, and then kind of how the study clubs are gonna lay out. We'll talk about the rule changes for this year, which we've got a paper here, thank God, because I forgot mine out of everything. And tournament dates, and then just some general discussion stuff. And when we get through the registration stuff, Chris has, I think you have a walkthrough guide for the safe sport if you're required to take it. And didn't you say you had something else on that front? Or was it just safe sport?
Just getting through Safe Sport and how to sync it to your USA softball account.
So we got not really a full slate tonight, but we'll get it rolling.
Here, give me like a head bob or something.
Head bob.
You want me to switch it?
I haven't had enough Red Bull for that, so I should give it time. So just some background on our association for those that don't know. I mean, a lot of people in the chat we've talked to over the years, you kind of know what's going on. So we were formed in 2020 through the midst of COVID. And our goal is to promote USA softball umpiring in District 7 in all of Montana and beyond. This last year, we donated to the Tornado Relief Fund that was set up by USA softball umpires. I believe it was Kentucky. Yep. So what we're finding is now that we're up and running and we have some of those first year jitters out of the way, we're able to do a lot more than we even realized when we were getting started. So it all starts here. It starts in training. It starts in the Zoom meetings. It starts with the discussion that we have with everybody in the room and abroad. All of our training is free. Like I said, eventually these videos will all be up in a library on YouTube, so you can access them anytime you want.
I thought you gave me the.
There was no head bob. Again, there's not enough Red Bull.
Just ask him for the next one, because he's not gonna get it.
No.
It's Duncan, give me a break.
So again, you see our staff of the YHUA listed down there. There's one significant change, and that is Mr. Matt Heckel is no longer our district commissioner, but he is our state UIC in the untimely passing of Rick back in September. So congratulations, Matt, on your promotion. And as an association, we look forward to working with you, even though nothing really changes on our end.
Thank you.
And then besides Chris and myself, Gary Barnhart, who is with us via Zoom, Jared Sobey via Zoom, and Terry Humphrey, who I think Terry's still alive. I haven't heard from him in a while, but that's our staff. And if you have any questions, anything like that, especially those of you out of town, if you can't get a hold of me, one of these guys down below can definitely point you in the right direction. Okay, there we go. Okay. So for those of you joining us from out of town, this is specific to Bozeman. This is kind of a background. This is kind of a breakdown of how our fee structure works and what it takes to get started in each program. So if you're going to register for fast pitch only, registration is still $37, or did that go up?
$49 total.
Total, but the pure registration is $37.
Altogether, it's $49.
Okay, so I have a typo
It
there.
was 47 last year. It went up $2 for background checks.
Okay, so my numbers are off there. So $49 is the total, but then you'll see down there association fee, and that applies to both slow pitch and fast pitch. And basically what that number is, that $15 that we are asking that you guys pay as a registration fee to our association, it helps us with our day-to-day. We wrote checks for a couple of the tournaments. What? I didn't even, why are you making this difficult? Basically, it helps us run our day-to-day. Like I said earlier, we got a domain and a website now that costs us something to keep up. We wrote checks for a tournament last year or two. Checks is a big thing. Just the general day-to-day of the YHUA, that's what that $15 covers. And we're hoping in the future we can use it to help expand some of the other stuff we have planned, but for now it's just trying to keep our feet under us and keep us moving forward. So if you're going to register for both fast pitch and slow pitch, your total is down there at the bottom, and it's actually $62 now because Matt had to come in and screw all that up.
Ooh.
Should be $64, just so your math's correct.
Well, my math is way screwed up then. So 64 total with both of those fees included.
Good.
So again, what your registration gets you, we all know what the USA softball training is. It's what we're doing right now. It is included with your membership for those of you that are in areas where training isn't necessarily easiest to come by. Hopefully this helps fill that void. Evaluations, if you're looking to get better, 3, 4, 5 of us in the room have been around long enough that if you ask us, we'll give you some honest feedback.
Hey, I'm the only one not.
I didn't mean to single you out. Okay, I'm sorry. But I mean, you got the 2 elite fast pitch umpires over there, me, a lowly peon, and then Butch. And Greg is over here. But all of that training and evaluation is free. It's all stuff that we donate back to the association and the association for Montana as a whole. So all you have to do is ask, and don't be afraid to ask if you have questions. Yes?
Who's the 2 elite fast pitch umpires?
Well, you know, it's really weird how that happened, but you know, Chris's fear of the ball magically went away. And he somehow managed to squeak that out. But Chris and Matt both received their elite this year in the slow pitch category, even though their letter from Oklahoma says otherwise.
I know that.
The letter they sent us told us that we had qualified for elite in fast pitch, so we're trying to get it changed, so.
Better apply for slow pitch next year.
Yeah.
So
Why not be 2 elites?
that stuff is all free. The big thing with the registration with the association is that gear distribution license that we obtained last year. And what that allows us to do, and again, I'm not gonna speak to numbers on my next slide because I screwed that up too, but basically we can get you gear free of the shipping cost. So anything that you see online that you're looking at, you may want, we can get it to you up here at the cost that's on the website. Along with that, the association fees help fund your education in umpiring. Eventually, what we're looking to do is grant scholarships for people going to national schools, national tournaments, be able to help provide some of that support where I think basically, and again, I'm not meaning to single you out, Sydney, but those of us in the room that have gone to schools and national tournaments, a lot of that stuff previously has come out of our own pocket. So that's all stuff that we're working towards. And then the last point there is kind of the big one where with that gear distribution license, we saved $1,500 in the state last year just on shipping for uniforms. So that's something that we're looking to continue and pass forward through various means. Okay, go ahead. So again, ignore my numbers, but basically if you're looking to start in either of those games, that's kind of a rough estimate, but take into account it's free shipping. If you're looking to get started and looking to get in on the deep end. So our study club format, after this week, we will cover fast pitch and slow pitch separately, and then come back together as a full group in weeks 8 through 10 to go over the USA softball test, and specifically that chunk in the middle that is just general questions for everybody. In the weeks for either fast pitch or slow pitch, the last meeting of that advanced meeting, we'll go over test questions for your sport. So if you're a fast pitch umpire only, week 4, we'll talk about situations, mechanics, things like that on a more philosophical level, and go through the USA softball test questions that are specific to the fast pitch game. And then subsequently in weeks 5 through 7, we'll do the same thing in slow pitch. And then we'll come back together as a group in those last 3 weeks and go over the remnants of the test. And with all of these study, what's that?
You have to take the test.
Sarge, can you get your name right on there?
I think I can. It'll
Well,
say Ron, it'll say Ron or Ronald.
Well, that's one question you got right already.
Okay, thanks.
But basically what we're going to try and focus on in the formats of all this is mechanics. What we found over the years is that rules knowledge will come through game experience and just being out there doing it, as well as people getting in the book themselves. But mechanics, if we can help you get to where you need to be, even if your rules knowledge isn't that great, you're going to be a lot more credible with what you're trying to do. Rule changes for 2022. a ball core. They're finally going to a standardized ball core across all codes of play. So that includes NCAA, that includes the Federation, that includes NSF, and whatever else in the alphabet soup that you want to throw out there. Come 2024, the ball core standard is going to be one size, one core throughout every sport or every variation of softball. Bat grips, they changed the wording to no longer include they need to be taped. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong on that.
They do not need to be taped.
Okay,
When you put the little rubber cone on the bottom of it.
Yep.
It does not have to have a piece of tape anymore.
and the comment that I have on here is with that little rubber cone, one thing around the state we're gonna start seeing more is they actually have computer chip bats that are legal as per Kevin Ryan, where the knob comes down and in the bottom of the bat is basically a velocity sensor so that they can analyze how quickly a player is swinging and the trajectory, everything like that. That is 100% legal. The bats right now for that, they're a light blue with white lettering, and I forget the company that makes them, but just realize we're gonna start seeing those crop up in high school fast pitch as well. And that is a completely legal bat.
Just something to add, when I was on like the Phoenix website and you get bats made for the wood, you can have chips inserted into them or have that option. So you're right, it's gonna be, we're gonna see it more and more.
As analytics start to come into the fast pitch game, that's gonna be something we'll see more of. In fast pitch, we have lineup card changes, and for those who haven't read it yet, what we have now is the ability of a team to play with essentially 11 with a DP flex, and you can have an EP at any point in time. So you can play your standard 9 or 10, and that 10 can be the EP, or you play a DP flex where the 10th player is the EP and the 11th is the flex. So they've added that option in for coaches, hopefully to get players more playing time, and we'll see how it goes.
Your EP can go anywhere in the lineup.
Yes, correct. I was using it at the bottom just as an example, but Matt is correct. The EP can go anywhere in the lineup.
So like bat 10.
Yep. Formerly, this was.
Wait. They're batting 10 or batting 11? No, you can have 11 in the
You can
lineup.
have 11 in the lineup. The flex is always the last person in the line.
Okay.
Previously, this was a tournament rule around here, and it was made mainly for
Absolutely stupid.
national tournaments and pool play. It has always been a rule there, but they're bringing it into the full mainstream of the game this year, so that is acceptable. In general language, they have dropped gender-specific terms, so it's no longer base men, it is base player, so on and so forth throughout the entire rule book. ADA, they clarified some language with an ADA player going out and having someone sub in for them, and it's no longer a formal substitute. So that ADA player can come back in at any point in time with no substitution charged. It doesn't count against anybody. They just play on. You just find somebody who's not currently in the game to fill that spot until that person can come back. If they don't come back, I believe it is a charged substitution, but I'm not positive on that. I need to read a little bit further. Fast pitch and slow pitch, really, they changed the time limits from 10 seconds to 5 seconds from when the pitcher receives the ball, they get in position.
Slow.
Is it only slow pitch?
Only slow pitch. It's still 20 seconds, I believe. But
That's the way I read it.
Yeah.
Or understood it.
Send them out to you, Greg.
Oh, crap.
It doesn't say slow or fast.
5 seconds is really fast.
In an email. You send them out?
Yeah, it's an attachment to an email.
I've never ever got an
Oh,
How did I miss you?
Ken.
Okay, so it's Rule 6C, Section 3J. The pitcher has 5 seconds to release the next pitch after receiving the ball or after the umpire indicates play ball. So it's, from what, if you read that, it's across the board.
no, because you are looking at 6C. 6A is fast pitch. 6B is modified. 6C
Oh, that's
is
right,
slow
you're right,
pitch.
So
you're
yeah, it is a slow pitch.
So it is slow
pitch,
So I
sorry.
stand corrected there. But then that leads us into the big pitching change in the fast pitch world. And I know USA softball hates the term leap.
Right,
But-
airborne is what they like.
The pitcher can now be airborne with both feet in the air. There's no more requirement to necessarily drag. They can have both feet in the air during that whole thing.
I have a question from Victor online. We gotta back up a little bit. I missed it. Will it change the bats that are chipped? Will it change any of the logo or the certification stamps on the bat?
I don't believe so, but I also know that like last year when I was in Georgia, USA softball was just getting in front of this. So they may come out with a new certification stamp probably for next year, I would guess. I'm trying to remember back to bat testing. I want to say they did not match up with either the linear or non-linear list, but they are a legal bat because of the comment from Kevin Ryan. They're permissible, but I don't believe they fall under either of those two compression tests. I can get further clarification on it if we run into it, but again, just something to be aware of. Any questions on rule change stuff? I think save for Greg, I sent an email out to everybody with that stuff in it. And for those of you out of town, I can definitely follow up and send again if I need to.
You went over those, no more leaping.
No more leaping. Or leaping is now legal, let's put it that way.
Yes, it's called airborne.
Leap. It's just called what it is.
And was there a reason or
The-
what's the reason?
The best guess I can get, and Matt may be able to speak more to this, is that they're trying to align both men's and women's fast pitch to have the same rules.
Okay.
The men are allowed to lead essentially.
Correct.
So it's just an attempt to make everything more streamlined.
What about NCAA? Is that, are they allowed to leave?
They can do anything.
No, in the NCAA, we have our own set of rules, but that's a different topic. for
Well, I know,
another
but
day.
I'm just saying, girls, are they, I mean, I guess if we're gonna go gender, I mean,
High school.
they're
Wait,
gonna go from high school to college.
High school, they're not allowing it either.
Oh, but this is.
The leap
okay,
is still
USA.
illegal.
This year, they talked about it coming.
Yeah, no, it's one of those rare times where USA is in front of one of these charges instead of 3 years behind. So just something to be aware of. Chris,
Kenny's not gonna be able to call illegal pitches.
Chris, do you want to go through your registration stuff before we go through the rest of this? Because I think all we've got left is tournament dates and discussion. Or do you
Yep.
want to say?
No, I can go through that. I'll have to get it. Let me pull up another file here, guys, and I'll. Where did it go? Here we go. That's not the one. So I'm gonna try to pull up and share with you guys the, is everybody pretty familiar with Safe Sport?
Matt is very.
Okay. It can be confusing to go through the Safe Sport process, and it's only for people that are gonna do JO Fast Pitch. A little bit of history, they started Safe Sport about 4 or 5 years ago. USA Softball started this to try to alleviate and make people aware of people that are in our sport that shouldn't be in our sport, that are acting inappropriately, and how we are supposed to respond to that. So it's probably the most uncomfortable thing that we do with USA Softball, but it is kind of necessary.
And on that note, it is actually required by law, since USA Softball is the national governing body for the Olympics. We are required, if we're working with youth athletes, to take it.
Correct. And so for those of you that, if you're going to do JO softball, you have to go to register usasoftball.com. At this website, this is where you can log in to your USA Softball account. So each one of us has our own unique username and password for USA Softball. And if you don't have your username and password for USA Softball, you can contact Matt or Don Barch, right, for that information?
The username and password,
Yeah.
they'll be able to change their own.
But if they've never logged in before,
They should be able to create a new account.
but they don't know their umpire number, I guess is what I'm getting at.
If they don't know their umpire number, they can get a hold of me and I got it.
So that's what I was getting at. If you don't know your
They can get a
umpire
hold of Kenny,
number,
they still have it, too.
you can get a hold of Matt. He can get that information
Why
to you.
will I
But
have it?
This website is where we're gonna go to get Safe Sport certified. And when you log into this website, the first thing that you'll see is a page, and this, what you're seeing on the screen right now, or can you guys see what's on the screen?
No,
No.
it's still
It's still this, my fault. You guys gotta stop me.
Come on.
I'm seeing it.
You can see the Safe Sport screen?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
the,
Yeah,
I have to just preface that it just
What's,
changed.
you got mine there,
Your umpire number book,
please?
I don't know why it's not pulling up. up
So
here.
to kind of further while Chris is getting this going, a little bit on Safe Sport. It basically stemmed out of
173,
173,
issues that they were having with the
8672.
gymnasts and the doctor.
8672, thank you.
Gave basically a greater call to have some accountability. So shortly thereafter, the US Department of Safe Sport is what they're called, or just Safe Sport, was formed to kind of be that safety net. So it stemmed from that, and then, like I said, as USA Softball became the national governing body of softball in 2020, it became a requirement for anyone working with youth athletes or Paralympic youth athletes to have this training. So it's a very grim and unfun thing that we have to do, but it has a greater purpose and a greater intention. And we kind of have to do as we're told on that one.
I think they got it online, guys, or they will have it online. I don't know why it's not sharing here. So, all right, you guys can see the Safe Sport how-to guide. Now, this guide is online. You can download it. I'll try to post a link to it maybe in the chat, or put the PDF in the chat for you guys that are online if you need this. But you're gonna go log into to usasoftball.com. You're going to click on the Safe Sport tab. When you click on the Safe Sport tab, you can, if you're already a Safe Sport user, and you have a username and account, you can click on Safe Sport first time user to create one, or if you've already got a username and log in, you can do a returning user. If you forgot your password, just click on the forgot password link. They'll send it to your email to get logged into Safe Sport. Once you get logged into Safe Sport, or this is if you have to create your own account with Safe Sport. This is not USA Softball. I would suggest that you use the same username and password. You'll understand why later. So if you need to register for Safe Sport, it's totally free. Just create your own username and password. Any information that you need off of your membership ID, that's the stuff you can get from Matt or Don Barch. Don Barch is our current JO state rep. He is going to be kind of an interim position this year. Corey Taylor will be our new JO state rep at some point this year. So if you guys need any of their information, feel free to contact us. We'll make for sure it's available. But when you log into your registerusasoftball.com account, you will see Matt's information and the current GO reps information. So once you create an account, it's going to ask you to agree to all these terms and conditions. So click I agree. Once you do that, you're going to be logged into USA Safe Sport, or you'll go to this login screen, and that's where you'll use your username and password to log in. Now, with your membership ID, USA Softball should preload the course that you need, which for Safe Sport. This is what you'll see with username and password. When you get in there, they're telling you to go to the catalog, and you can enroll in Safe Sport. So the way that Safe Sport works, it's on a 5-year rolling calendar. And so your first year, you take the long version of Safe Sport. It takes, they say 90 minutes, it takes more about 2 hours. And you have to be patient with it because sometimes it can pause out, or the screen doesn't go to the next screen. And so it can be a little bit finicky. We've all experienced it, but you can get through it. I just went through it last week. Ken's been through it. Greg, have you been through it this year? So Butch, have you? So you can get through it. Just be patient with it. And if you have trouble, you can always call us and we'll try to see if we can help you.
This is your two.
Matt, can you hear me?
Yes.
Could you check and see if mine went through? I still can't print my certificate.
No, I did not, Sarge.
Well, when you get a chance, could you check for me, please?
So your second, third, and fourth year of going through this, you just have to do like a 30-minute refresher course. But this year, a lot of us that did it 5 years ago had to redo the whole thing. So that's kind of how the design portion of the course goes. Once you get through your class, or once you get ready to take your class, you just basically hit the start button. The questions are not like a pass fail. This is very much just they do ask you questions along the way. If you get it wrong, they're gonna let you correct your answer or whatever. So you got something?
Did you sync your two accounts together?
We'll go
Yes,
for it.
I did.
Okay,
Okay.
keep going.
So once you start the course, it'll bring you in, ask you, you want English or what language you want to do. Just follow the on-screen prompts. It does a pretty good job of walking you through it. Once you've passed your Safe Sport exam, but like I said, there's like 3 different sections. They kind of walk you through it. So don't think you're going to fail it if you take it. It's mostly, they just want you to see the content. So once you've gotten through and you've passed, you're not going to print your certificate at that time. You're going to go back into usaregistersoftball.com. You're going to go back into the Safe Sport link. What's that?
You're making up websites.
Whatever it is, you guys, I can't. Anyways,
Register.
you didn't raise your hand. So
I'm in the room with you.
you're going to come back here to your Safe Sport tab and you see where it says click here to manually sync your account. Once you've completed your course, you'll click there and you're going to use, this screen's going to pop up and you're going to use your Safe Sport username and password. Unless you're Ken Linder, you're going to use he can't figure that one out. So
I can't read the big red letters right above.
make for sure that when you're in this page, you use your Safe Sport username and password. It synced my account. When I did it, it just took a few minutes and then all of a sudden it popped up and said that I had completed my Safe Sport training and was good to go for this year. So I know it's confusing. I know it's not, that's why they've created this tutorial. I wish that they would make it simpler. I think we all do, but if you get lost or you have issues, get a hold of us or download this link or download this PDF to help walk you through it a little bit better, or anybody else that you're trying to help get Safe Sport certified so that they can do use fast pitch. After this happens, I believe that Matt is going to register you as an umpire and push the background check at that point, or
At that point, as soon as I register you, the background check will come back to you. You have to enter your social security number.
where do they do that? In the background check?
It's on Register USA.
So it'd be the tab right next to the Safe Sport is background check. For those
Correct.
Looking at it.
So this is the screen that you'll get once you should see on your Safe Sport tab once you are good. It'll say all green and congratulations, you're good to go. So you can see over here on the other side where it says background check, I'm assuming that's where you're going to put in your social security number.
Yep, it'll come up to you.
So Matt
Once
cannot,
I start your registration, then your background, you'll put that in. They'll pull that number, they'll put that in, it all gets deleted as soon as they put it into the background check.
the big thing about Safe Sport is Matt cannot register anybody with USA Softball or as an umpire until they take this course. And he will get notification that it's been completed, just like Ron is asking to see if he's seen it yet. And Matt will double check for him, I'm sure this evening or tomorrow, but he can't even start the process. So that means if you have umpires out there that you're just trying to fill a field, they are not covered under Bollinger Insurance because they are not technically a registered umpire, and there's a paper trail to show that they haven't taken their course. So you UICs that are out there from other districts, make for sure that you're getting this taken care of. It's a pain in the ass, but it's something that we have to do.
And Chris, if you're done, there's one other hoop that we didn't cover that just dawned on me.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to post this in the chat, guys. So I'll let Ken do what he's gonna do.
The one other thing to keep in mind for everyone in the meeting is if you're going to do any sort of youth athletics, as per state law, I believe it was 4 years ago. We are also required to do concussion training. I have a couple of different options for that through 2 different places. For people who don't say do high school, we get it through high school training just through the federation. But there's a couple other alternatives that also satisfy that requirement. So before they set foot on a JO field, they need safe sport and the concussion both done to satisfy all the laws that are in play here.
All right, guys, I just posted that into the chat box, that PDF, and so that Safe Sport guide that I just walked through. So you guys should all be able to click on that link, download it to your computers, so you have it to refer back to. I'll be posting, keep your chat up, because as I go through some of the rest of the stuff, I'll be posting more PDFs in the box there for you guys. So a couple of the things that USA Softball has done for us is they're moving along with the age that we're in. And they have created a digital world to answer Butch's question when he first came in, where's my book? Because Butch has always had a book when he's been with USA Softball. They are available. We do have some coming at some point, but we do not have, they're not printing books like they used to. They want us to go online with our phone,
Had to go, no.
go to the USA Softball website, and you can download for free the umpire manual and the official rule book to your phone, and you can take it with you and have it with you everywhere you want. So we do have some books coming. I don't know, are they here? Are they going to be?
Rule
here?
books,
Yeah.
they were talking like end of April was the last I heard.
So if you guys aren't digitally inclined, you're gonna have to figure it out, because that's the way where it's going. So
If I can do it, any of you can do it.
it
I have a
actually,
grandson for that.
it is
Oh, I
actually,
did
once you get
myself,
used to it, there's a lot more tools to it that you can use online to learn. And there's a lot of links that will switch you. I'm going to show you guys that are inside of the book. So I understand that a real book is more preferable with some of you guys, but I can't make them appear. Once they're here, we'll get them out to the folks that want them. So says my screen, new share. Let me come back here. All right. This thing, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it's up on the phone though.
That's all I care about at the moment. I'll fix that later. All right, so when you want to, if you want to download the official rule book and the umpire book, you can go to teamusa.org. That website, if you guys are online, you can see if I can get it to pull up here. Looks like this. Okay. Just kind of everything about USA Softball, all the different stuff that they do, the national championship stuff. You can go over here to menu. You can click on umpires, because that's pretty much what we care about. And this has got all the links to everything that we need: the umpire manual, the exam, the official gear catalog, national umpire schools, umpire awards, everything that pertains to umpires. So when you click here on umpire manual, and I'm going to put this link into the Dropbox here in just a minute on the screen. This is a link to our 2022 umpire manual. That's what it would look, that's what it's going to look like when it shows up. So here it is in PDF form. Whenever we are into the, whenever you go into the umpire manual, one of the coolest things that I saw, or when I'm going through it, is when I get down here to, and some of the stuff we're going to go through in some of our study clubs, and I'm just going to go down to where I can, you know, if you're in the, you can go to, you're in the each chapter here, you can click on this and it'll take you right to that chapter. And, you know, so everything is kind of linked together where you don't have to just scroll through 185 pages. It's got all of our deputy and chiefs, deputy directors, UICs listed here. Matt is listed in this book as our state UIC. But when we get down here, we start talking this year, we're going to say, we talk about plays and play where you're supposed to be. The umpire manual actually gives us links. And I'm trying to find one here. You can see I really did my homework. It gives us links to where we can see what USA Softball wants us to do. And trying to, am I in the rules? No. Sorry, guys. That might be put on the spot.
Matt, I think you have to go farther. Chris, down into the, where they have the plays, the two-man
Oh, there.
mechanics, and there you go.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. So with this digital version, if you're sitting here and you go to the umpire manual, and we're looking here at page 72, fly ball the outfield, no runner on base. I can click this play video link and it will take me to a video that USA Softball has posted. Hopefully you guys can see this on your end. And it's a 1-minute video about what they want you to do in this situation.
Hear the soldier come, Kevin Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know where my volume's at. There is volume with this, and I'll get that working before we start. But it's really cool just because for new umpires, it gives you a little bit of a visual of what you should do in all the situations that we were going to see, where they want you to move to, how they want you to move to those positions, and kind of what your responsibilities are. You know, you can see this guy here, he can see everything because the ball's the outfield and the guy's only moving to first. But, you know, that previous play where the ball was hit down the left field line, you can see the umpire's focus has to stay on the ball, and he's not going to see what happens at first base in a one umpire system. And so those are things that we're going to cover and talk about during this year. So I want you guys all to know that we'll make it just a little bit more streamlined, but I want you to know what you're getting into this year and what we can bring training wise to everybody. There's also the rules book is available online. Let's see if I can get back to that. So we got the official rule book. This is what we're going to encourage players to download on their phones. I would like for Matt to talk about what's going to happen when somebody comes out on a field with a phone because they've found a rule that you've misinterpreted, and how he would like you to handle that because we're going to see it. Somebody's going to do it.
They found a rule they misinterpreted.
Well, they're gonna bring their phone up because they got the books on the phone, right? So a guy comes out and he says, "Hey, Blue, I got the book right here. You know, are you going to allow that to happen, or how should we handle this?"
No, it is no different. They cannot use an electronic device except. to
Unless
keep-
it's a scorekeeping or timekeeping device.
Right. But you guys need to be prepared for that, that it can happen, and, you know, the books are on their phones, and you may have an assistant coach in there digging through where you might have messed somebody up, you know, or messed something up 2 innings ago. So just gotta be prepared for seeing that or having that happen.
My plan on getting around all that was to have a hard copy book for each JO team. That way the coach has a book, but he still can't bring it out on the field.
Right. So, something that for you guys also, besides these rule books that are available online, we're going to also the official gear catalog. You can see the link. Hopefully, everything that's in this catalog is stuff that we can order for you guys with no shipping. I'm coming up with an order form that I'm going to send to each one of you, Ken or myself will send to each one of you district UICs, and you can fill it out and send an order. And we prefer that you try to get a group order together and send it to us whenever you're ready. And we will need to have a check or a form of payment up front before we can place that order. And then we should be able to, we saw orders in 7 to 10 days last year. We can have them shipped directly to you guys. Like Ken said, we saved $1,500 for umpires last year across the state. We all know that this is expensive, and we're trying to do everything we can to mitigate costs. It looks to me like shirts last year were $28. Now they're $32. So we want to make it as friendly as possible for everybody to get into it. So if you guys want to save a little money, let us know. We'll get you some gear for your new officials. It also includes face masks, shin guards, chest protectors, shoes, shirts, pants. I would tell all you guys, do not have USA Softball alter your pants. Have them done locally because they're never right. Everybody always has to go and get them altered again, typically, once they.
Mine actually came longer than the stock ones last year, somehow.
Don't pay the extra $8. I would discourage it. But
But do make sure to find a decent seamstress. That way your seams don't come out while you're on the field.
Oh boy, did that happen?
it does happen.
It has happened.
Oh boy.
One other thing I would kind of throw out there, well, official gear is great. If you're looking for protective equipment, get a hold of Gary, Greg, myself, anybody who's been around the fast pitch game for a while, and we can kind of give you some preferences of ours. The USA stuff is great if you're getting started, but over time it becomes just kind of heavy and clunky. So you'll want to start looking for some better options, but it's a great starting place for anybody just getting into it.
I just put the manuals and the rule book on in the chat, so you guys should be able to grab them there if you want them. I will also put the official gear catalog. Again, you can find all these things on the USA Softball website. Does anybody got any questions about that? Like I said, we're any suggestions about what you want, maybe something else you want us to cover on those things? No, we're all good. Clear as mud. All right. I will send out an order form. I kind of this is I meant to pull that up. If you click on that and you see it's an Excel spreadsheet. For those of you that don't use Excel, I'll send it to you in a PDF whenever I finish it. But basically what it'll do is it'll list out every item that is the more popular items with USA Softball that you can just basically fill in the blank. Say I want, 6XL polo powder blue shirts, or I want this. And if we get into shoes and other items, you'll have to fill those out individually as you want them, because there's probably 300 different items in that catalog, and we're only going to set out an order form for the more popular items, shirts and hats and ball bags and things like that. So yes, Victor, we can handle returns. We had a pair of shoes shipped last year to Gary, and we were able to send his shoes back and get him the right shoes before his national. So yes, we will handle returns for you if it comes up, but we cannot return altered pants. So any questions on that? Anything else on that, Ken?
Nothing on this, and I think if we're past that, we can go to tournament dates and
Okay.
the deal. I think that's the last thing I have on our agenda for tonight is tournament dates, and keep in mind, some of this stuff is still fluid, especially with Goosetown pushing JO State back a week. There is that variable as well.
You guys let them do it to you again?
Do what?
We didn't let them do anything, or I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about.
Hill pushing JO State back a week because of his tournament?
Did it before we ever were there. They had it predetermined, and it came up, and so
Which there was no motels available also because of Folk Festival that same weekend.
Because of what?
Folk Festival.
Oh, okay.
the same weekend as Big One, as a Goosetown, right?
Yes.
So anyways, let me get your tournament dates back up here, Ken, and I will.
While they're getting the tournament dates up, would you guys all let your fast pitch umpires know that I have a fast pitch tournament the second weekend in June also? I will be utilizing 8 fields.
Is that what he said?
Yes.
What do we have here?
Nothing. So for perspective, Bozeman Blast is not happening this year. They decided because the weather was so hit or miss that tournament will not happen. They'd rather just go play somewhere else as opposed to play that.
So, okay, so would it be, see, they should have never moved it off of Father's Day weekend.
I agree.
Really? So that's the end of it?
well, they're talking, Corey specifically had mentioned that he would like to extend the fast pitch season past state. So it's an option that they're throwing out there, that there's nothing that says they have to stop after state, they just always have, so.
All right, so starting up here at the top, the GVSA kickoff tournament, Jared Leonard, please feel free to correct me if some of those dates are off. I feel like some of that was still kind of fluid. Kickoff tournament, April 29th through May 1st, the hot box, the 24th through the 26th of June, and that also is Wade weekend.
Yes,
Okay, so that we've got that. Belgrade Girls Fast Pitch, Bridger Mountain Classic, July 2nd through 4th. Our tournament, because of all this shifting, is going to fall on July 9th and 10th, which we already talked about, does conflict with Goosetown, but that's the only weekend that we could get it in. GVSA's men's districts at the end of July, co-ed beginning of August, and then August 5th through the 7th, we got women's and masters state down here. So we have that, and then the GVSA's Oktoberfest in September. So as it sits right now locally, that's kind of what we're looking at in terms of tournament dates. Yeah, any questions, comments on that?
I just was gonna say, I'm not sure if you have a lot of umpires coming from out of town for Big Wood, but hotels for that weekend are absurd already. So I don't know if people have couches or something that people can sleep on.
We've been exploring some options because the Bridger Mountain Classic is also running into that issue. But coming from the state, as long as we provide housing, and we're looking into VRBO and some other things, just to make that a little bit easier, and so is Belgrade's tournament. So we've kind of been on the pulse of that, but Jared, thank you for bringing that up, because I know it's been running rampant between basically the three main organizations that have tournaments this year.
so,
National school.
Oh, I forgot to put that on there. The national school is April 15th through the 17th, or is it later?
I believe it's next weekend after.
Okay, so it may be a week later. I'll send that out, but that's in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Anybody interested in the state from going, please, if you're just a lone individual from the Great White North up near Havre, and you want to go to that and you want to carpool, please get a hold of us early. The thinking that's been thrown out is if we need to rent a bus and just go, we'll rent a bus and go, and if we need to pick people up along the way to help cut the travel down, we'll work something out. I will send that flyer because I think the flyer is out. I will send that out as well. So I'll send out a general reminder for the umpire school in April. But again, if you're interested in going and looking to try and carpool to help cut expenses, get a hold of us, because I think there were tentatively a few of us that were talking about going. So
Well, I know for sure there's one gal in Whitefish that would really love to go.
okay, so
I'd love to go too.
okay, so we've got two. We will be in contact, because like I said, if we can come up with some sort of plan where Whitefish meets us here and then we get a bus and we can go, we'll figure something out.
and just so, Victoria, you guys make, anybody that goes to a national school, it makes you eligible to go to a national tournament for 3 years. You can go to like a Menzies, I don't know what it is for JO.
Menzies slow pitch, and if you're gonna go to like a 10B, I think.
Yeah, so you can go to the lowest levels, and that's where you should all start without going to a national school. But if you go to a national school, you're going to be better prepared for what their expectations are. If you want to go to a national tournament, they're a heck of a lot of fun. You meet a lot of great people from all over the country, and people that are just like us. And that's, I cannot, it was a great experience. It has been a great experience for me and all of us that do go. Please encourage your local umpires, anybody that might want to go. Part of our mission here in Bozeman with our association is to help out anybody, not just umpires from here that are going to nationals. If they need financial help to get there, I don't want that. I don't want anybody to, we don't want anybody to use that as an excuse as why they're not going. So if it's a financial situation, please get a hold of us. That's why we're raising money. That's part of our mission, is to try to help people get to these places and enjoy these experiences, because you can go a hell of a lot further as an umpire than you can as a player from Montana.
There is a umpire clinic in Casper, Wyoming on March 19th, but it is not a regional or a national clinic. It is just a clinic they're putting on for the state of Wyoming.
And for those of you that are online, just a little bit about the Big Wood tournament. It is a tournament that is for our association. We will be using that as a evaluation tournament for umpires, to try to help umpires go to that are going to nationals. So if you're going to want to work in the 2 and the 3-man system, we're going to make for sure that we have plenty of games that you can get in and learn. And it's a great place to learn because it's a wood bat tournament. Everything's much slower than a normal tournament. So it's a great place to get started in those systems if you're looking to do that. So
now, you guys are officially running, or is the league running?
we're running it.
And what, that's the word from the league? Because I know there are guys thinking that the league is putting it on.
Well, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to basically co-host with the GVSA.
Okay, because I was just.
We'd like to do it together with them, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to run the tournament. We're going to run the
Okay,
financial side of it. Their partnership is kind of on the back end type of stuff that's got to happen.
okay. So once again, for you guys that have never run a tournament, you're gonna have softball. He hasn't done a very good job either.
That's true, Matt's not.
Because you're gonna have people chasing balls,
We know.
doing garbage and everything else. And it's not when I want to, it's gotta be constant. Because that is the one thing that shoots down a tournament more than anything else. And if you're not willing to do it, then get out now. And let someone take it and do it right.
You want to do
No,
it? We could use the help.
no, I will umpire, but that's it.
Perfect. That would be awesome.
No,
We know there's going to be challenges, and any advice is welcome. Because that's the last thing we want to do is run it in the ground.
because because it's, Journey does the same thing. Yeah, I got everything covered, and then
No,
you're
this-
running around looking for softballs. And it's absolutely ridiculous.
we're going to lean pretty hard on our local umpires to not only umpire some games, we're going to have to bring in out-of-town umpires, but also to help us run the tournament. That's what this is about. Anybody that's a part of our association will be expected, to be there if they
Not a
can.
problem.
So, but anyways, now we'd like to open it up before we have plenty of time here, but I know, whatever you guys got going on online. Any questions, discussion about rules changes, anything that you'd like us to maybe cover this year in these classes that you're looking for a little bit more?
And keep in mind with what Chris just said, we are extremely fluid with the ideas of these different courses. So those first 3 weeks, I'm open to suggestion. If there's something you guys would like to see, shoot me an email and we'll see how we can work it in. Because I know even in the Zoom right now with Rock joining here a little bit ago, there's a hell of a lot more experience than I have in some cases. So if there's
Rock's
something-
on here now?
He was,
Was he?
yeah, he sent me
So
a text, but I haven't.
why all of a sudden the change in the, let's finish the last inning, play one more, and then call it game?
Okay, as per state rules, we are sticking to it. The only time that applies is state tournament.
No, I thought we voted as a state to keep the hour 20, finish the inning and play.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay,
So
so,
now with the national rule changing, what they were finding is that they never needed it. You had
never
to-
needed what, the hour and 40 minutes?
Hour and 40,
Right,
no new
our
finish.
state bylaws remain the same.
So we're still playing an hour
Hour
20,
20 and
finish,
finishing.
playing another inning.
At the national level, especially at the higher level tournaments, they're very rarely touching that hour
Okay.
40 to begin with. So that's where that move came from. On average, you're on the field for maybe an hour and 20 minutes. If you keep them moving.
Well, it depends on who's behind the plate running the game.
I will admit, I had a 3-hour game. Yes, I will admit that to the group. I'm okay with that.
Figure Rick wouldn't let you get away
No,
with it.
no, I appreciate that. So any other questions, comments from anybody in the chat? Again, we know this one was kind of the admin part. We knew it was gonna be a little bit dry, but we hope that we've caught some interest. And like I said, the floor is open for discussion. If anybody in the chat has any questions or anything, feel free to throw it out.
So with that pitching, the leaping now becoming legal, so they can essentially crow hop. That's now legal.
No, the crow hop is still.
No. Okay, so how do you tell the difference between the crow hop and the leap, I guess?
If they are crow hopping, they're replanting that foot to gain a second impetus, is the way it's always been referred to in my mind.
Okay.
So is that foot come forward and replant, and then they will push off. This rule is just saying that they can push off and both feet can be air run through the duration of the pitch.
Okay.
Hey, guys, I want to thank you for letting me on the Zoom call. Loner from Helena, so.
Yeah.
Great little training tool. I'm going to incorporate that with the Helena guys. Invite them to join along, so I do appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining.
Absolutely.
We'll get, like I said, we'll get more,
Jack.
Oh,
as these classes go on, we'll get more in depth. We, like I said, the beginner, advanced, it's very much going to be tiered that way for each section. And so we know there's a lot of things, a lot of people that are on here are seasoned umpires. You know, there's a lot of stuff that crosses over, but there are nuances to each game. And we all are, some of us are better at one than the other. And so everybody being on here can help us all maybe be a little bit more on the same page as a statewide. And I think this is really great, and I appreciate everybody that's come on here tonight. So
Thank you for your time.
On that part there, I need names for registrations of umpires. I do have a lot of their information. I just need to make sure that they are going to umpire this year. And we'll check and make sure their stuff is current. Between you.
Hey, where do I get one of those cups there? A little Matty Heckle cup I saw. Kenny had one.
I think it says, is it right or is it right?
That's right.
Am I right?
Or am I right?
I don't know how that got on me. It was a Chris Duncan thing in his onesie, but.
Matt, you're not supposed to tell people about that.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to respond to Victoria's question about the crow hop. So the crow hop, what I was taught was that the arms, that the pitch hasn't begun before the leap, and then they replant. If you actually YouTube a crow hop, it's very, very easy to see once you see it. So I'd highly recommend that YouTube it. I was really surprised. I've seen one actual adult pitcher ever do a crow hop. So.
See, and because I used to be an outfielder in softball, and I used to crow hop as an outfielder, but I've never seen a pitcher leap or jump at all during a pitch. And so just more knowing what is considered legal as far as on a pitching standpoint than illegal and closer to a crow hop.
The other thing I would to kind of supplement what Rock is saying, and I'm sure those of us in the room that do fast pitch and a few others that are on the call, when you see it, it will look weird.
Okay.
It will look non-natural to what they've been doing. So it will stick out
I don't know, jumping during a pitch seems unnatural to me anyways, so that's kind of why I just wanted the clarification on it.
And if you want to see what they mean, again, kind of to echo what Rock was saying, go YouTube men's fast pitch and just watch
Okay.
because that's what they're going for,
Okay.
that type of deal. Anything else?
I just want to say thank you, guys. We'll catch you next week.
Thank you.
Next week, when does high school start?
End of March.
29th, his first game's in Helena.
You can't do anything for high school until the first. That's the first day we can actually do our study clubs.
Study goes,
So
May?
probably,
or April,
huh?
what, March 1st?
March 1st, excuse, I'm sorry.
Okay. Let me ask you guys this, because
We're gonna have to figure out another night to meet. More than likely, or how late do you plan this to go?
We have some leeway built in, but we can shift here. So I mean, ideally, those would be kind of nice to have some open discussion into, just not our pool.
so that would affect your two classes
Yep.
and two of my classes starting later. So
Yep.
the other question I have is, if you guys all like this, I mean, we can do this because when we get together in our study clubs, you see how many people are here. There's 5 or 6 people from our association. In high school, we might have a few more. Would you guys like to do this? You know, you guys that do high school, will we get on together and, and talk that kind of like this and go through our classes together?
I mean, that's fun. I mean, I think,
I like that.
more the merrier. Well, yeah, I think the more the merrier, and once again, the idea that, you got Rock out there, Rock's gonna talk about something that we haven't seen, that way everybody gets it. And I think, once again, the idea of being consistent, that if we call it here in Bozeman and they go to play in Great Falls, it's being called in Great Falls.
Okay.
They go to Butte and nobody in Butte calls. Then it's like, great, way to go.
I'd throw your brother in.
How do you guys feel about that? That do high school, Rock, Ron, I don't know who else out there is doing high school from other associations about jumping on with us, because
And
We don't
I'm
have
not
to.
sure how computer literate half my umpires are.
I understand.
Okay,
We just want to know if there's an interest, we'll provide it. Otherwise, we'll just keep doing our local thing for high school.
And we'll push these meetings back, so instead of starting at 6, we'll adjust and figure out what we can do.
well, I think we
We
can try
can-
to keep our high school to the hours that this starts at 7. That way it's not dragging on all night, especially just to keep you guys in a flow of how you want to run it.
So I guess what I'm saying is these meetings during those weeks that we have high school study clubs, we'll push back and start at 7, and that'll be fine.
Yeah, because I mean, we've got our 4 weeks to get it in, so obviously
Yeah.
we can first get on and get our study club material and all that stuff done the first. I figure we got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get that done. Thursday we meet and then go from there.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay. Any of you guys, if you can get on Facebook, like us, follow us, whatever, on our webpage, because that's where we're gonna put all of our study club information, our Zoom links. I don't know if you got them from the email
I
or from there,
can
but
call her and yell at her now.
the more people that
Because
are on our page, and I know this sounds like I am trying to promote it, the more people that will see our advertisements for recruiting umpires. So the more that, I think the core group of us that stick together and try to unite in recruiting and stay together on training, I think that it can't hurt what we're doing, because there's less and less umpires every year. So we've got to figure out how to flip the switch together. So get more
yeah,
people
I
involved.
will, matter of fact, I will give her a call tomorrow.
But
I'm gonna do it.
thanks, everybody. You guys were other districts. I appreciate you taking time and spending it with us. It means a lot to all of us. So, everybody,
Bye, everyone.
bye, everybody. Have a good night.
See ya.
See ya, have fun.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, Chris, did you see my last message?
What'd you have, Vic? Looks like what was